I think it's really time for the country to get onto something else.
That was President Trump wanting to move on the conversation from the Epstein files. But you know what? There is so much that we still need to cover. In fact, like this, an unclassified FBI document from 2020. Take a look at this. It describes a video of Jeffrey Epstein torturing a young white female. It says is ages 11 to 13 years old with dark-colored hair. She was tied down, it says, and naked. The victim tied to the ground and spread eagle with a man who appears to be Jeffrey Epstein holding a magnifying glass with a claw, burning the victim. Guys, this is an unclassified FBI document. So, can we play what the president said again?
I think it's really time for the country to get onto something else.
Yeah, get on to something else. President Trump is asking why the country won't move on from the Epstein files. And here's the answer. We've only been shown the tip of the iceberg, and yet what we have been shown so far is in many ways worse than what so many people expected. Now, over the last few days, I've broken down Epstein's world for you, that wide circle of power, the smaller circle that went to the island, and then this innermost circle, the Pizzagate circle, if you will, of what involves people who are taking part in ritualistic sexual abuse of small children. I've told you about names like Zelensky, Marina Abramovich. And the more the files come out, the bigger the names get, the quieter the media becomes. Not about Epstein himself, but about those who are in the files. Because no one wants to talk about things like this. How new files reveal an email titled, quote, photo from visit with Bibi Netanyahu. But the attachment, you see it there, it's completely censored. Apparently, we're not supposed to see anything that was in this picture frame. Or this, an email where a question is raised, later attributed to Bill Gates, saying, quote, how do we get rid of poor people as a whole? President Trump wonders why the country can't move on, but here's why. Right now, today, we have more questions about Epstein than we have answers. Look, if names like Netanyahu and Bill Gates appear unredacted, then who are the names that they're still hiding? And why are the names on the most bizarre, most explicit emails redacted? Who was Epstein talking about when he talked about decapitating girls, saying, quote, some are like shrimp, you throw away the head and you keep the body? Who was he writing to, and who was writing to him, I should say, when he said, thank you for a fun night. Your littlest girl was a little naughty. Every word in this email, every timestamp, it's all visible here. Everything except the name of the sender. Why is that name redacted? That makes no sense. Or when he asked a former U.S. envoy to Syria to, quote, send photos of you and your child, make me smile. Or look at this one, incredibly disturbing line. Birth babies for black market use. And of course, that name is redacted too. So no, the country cannot move on. Not yet, not like this. And not when the country is getting a glimpse at what elite thinking actually looks like. These guys speak like they're in the Hunger Games, going out drunk treasure hunting, like this email says, for girls, without any fear of ever being caught. And yet there are people actively saying right now that this information should be removed from the internet. The AP reports there are complaints that not all the victims' names are hidden and correctly redacted. And by the way, they're right, they're not. Therefore, all the files, they say, should be banned and hidden from plain view. And they're wrong about that. Some are even saying that a special moderator should be brought in, hired to control all this information. Let that sink in. This is some of the darkest material ever released, and somehow it's also become the most protected content online. You see, you don't move on from crimes this big. You don't bury serious questions. The Epstein files are not about the past. They're about power right now. Who had access, who was, and who is still being protected. And until the redactions are gone and those names become public, and when we see the men and women on trial and behind bars, until that happens, this story cannot and will not be over.